Welcome to the channel. I'm a doctor. I've seen things that don't always fit into textbooks. Moments that no protocol can prepare you for. Some of these stories are my own. Others were shared with me by colleagues, nurses, paramedics people, who, like me, carry the weight of these moments long after the shift ends. They say symptoms don't lie, that if something hurts, something's wrong. But patients sometimes hide the truth from us, or worse, from themselves. Sometimes all we can do is learn to read the look in their eyes. This is the story of a man who came into the ER claiming it was just indigestion, and almost didn't make it because he didn't want to worry anyone. It was a Friday afternoon. It's a kind where the turns into a silent war zone. Patients arriving slowly but steadily. Nothing serious until it is. And the team was already exhausted heads halfway into the weekend, and then he walked in. A man in his 50s. Plaid shirt, beer belly, and that I don't want to be a bother kind of energy. He had this oddly light, almost comedic vibe. "Doc, don't worry. I'm sure it's just the tacos from last night," he said with a chuckle, lowering himself onto the stretcher. He clutched his chest dramatically, like a scene from a soap. "Oh, purr," smiled. "I like patients like that, the ones who try to lighten the moment, even if they're falling apart inside." As I examined him, I noticed his blood pressure was a bit high. Not alarming, but not ideal either. Heart rate was mildly elevated too. Where exactly does it hurt? Right here in the center, like someone punched me from the inside. But just for short moments. I've had it before. When was the last time it happened? Last night, and again this morning. But I took some Tums, and it went away. Kept insisting it was heartburn. Even said it in a lower voice, like asking for help was a sign of weakness. You know how it is? My wife sends me in for everything. "Just give me an antacid and I'll be fine." Then he added with a crooked smile, "If it were something serious, I'd already be on the other side by now, right?" I ran an ECG out of protocol. It had a few irregularities, but nothing conclusive. A mild elevation here, a subtle inversion there. I ordered cardiac enzymes. First draw. Within range. Technically, we couldn't call it a heart attack. A colleague approached me. "Do we keep him for observation, or send him home with some omeprazole and a bland diet?" It was a reasonable suggestion. We were full, and he didn't seem to be in any immediate danger. And for a moment, I was about to agree. But something stopped me. His eyes, it wasn't the look of someone with mild pain. It wasn't resignation or annoyance. It was something deeper. Darker. A flicker of fear he was trying to hide behind jokes. I've seen that look before, while the team discussed whether to keep him or discharge him. I walked over to him again. He was lying quietly on the stretcher, staring at the ceiling. No phone, no earbuds, no distraction. Just waiting, with a stillness that didn't feel like calm. It felt like something held back. I sat beside him, no rush. The kind of stillness you use when you want someone to open up. "You sure it's just heartburn?" I asked. He smiled again, like he was trying to convince me, maybe even himself. "Sure, Doc." Although he paused. He looked toward the door, as if checking no one else was listening. And then, in a whisper, almost like he was confessing something. "Shameful," he said. "Last night I dreamed I died." And then he laughed. A dry, short laugh. Not because it was funny, but to stop himself from crying. But I noticed his hands. They were trembling. Just a little. Just enough. Not the kind of tremor caused by fever or age. It was the kind that comes from fear, and I got it. He hadn't come. In because the pain was unbearable. Came because something inside him knew this wasn't normal. Maybe it was the dream. Maybe just a gut feeling the body knows before the mind understands. It wasn't the pain that brought him. It was the fear. He was masking it with humor, like so many do. But I saw it, and in that moment I knew I couldn't let him go. I told the team he's staying. Minimum 6-hour observation, serial enzymes. Not everyone agreed. One of the interns muttered, "This is just heartburn, Doc. We're taking a bed from someone who really needs it." And maybe it was, but something told me it wasn't. The patient hesitated too. "Everything's fine, Doc. Just give me something to take it home." "I know. But I wouldn't feel right sending you home. Do me a favor, let us keep you here a few hours. That way I can work in peace." He nodded with a faint smile. 2 hours later, second enzyme test. Slightly higher, still not diagnostic. He kept chatting, laughed with the nurses, even asked for a soda. Everything seemed stable. Until it wasn't. I was updating a chart on the computer when suddenly, "Doctor, flatline. On monitor." I ran. I reached him just as the screen showed a flat line. No warning. No cry. Just stopped. I rushed to the stretcher. Unconscious. No pulse. Code blue. I shouted. We started CPR immediately. Chest compressions. Epinephrine. Charge. Again and again. Fighting time in seconds. And finally, we got a rhythm. We brought him back. Asked when he opened his eyes. First thing he said was, "I was gone, wasn't I?" Asterisk. I squeezed his hand. He already knew. Asterisk later, tests confirmed it. A silent heart attack. The kind that gives no warning. No classic chest pain. Just vague symptoms like indigestion, fatigue, a bad night. Asked if we had sent him home, probably wouldn't have woken up the next day. He spent 48 hours in the ICU, monitored, his body exhausted but his heart clinging to life. Diagnosis was clear. Silent myocardial infarction. One of those deceptively quiet ones, not like in movies. No dramatic clutching of the chest, no collapse. Just a taco that won't sit right. A bit of heartburn, a bad dream. And if you don't catch it in time, it doesn't give you a second chance. Finally woke up, his voice weak, his eyes misty. He told me, "I knew it. I just didn't want to worry my wife. She's already dealing with so much." I said nothing. There he was, a man who nearly died seconds earlier, still trying to protect someone else. He buried his fear, downplayed his symptoms, not because he didn't feel them, because love came before instinct. And I wasn't sure whether to scold him or hug him. Part of me wanted to say, "You could have died for not speaking up." But the other part, the one that understands human nature, that has seen this silent sacrifice too many times, could only nod. Because sometimes the fear isn't of pain. It's of burdening those we love, making them carry worries we think they can't handle, and in trying to protect them, many slip away too soon. That day reminded me, not all symptoms show up physically. Some hide in the way someone avoids. Your eyes, in the pause before they answer, in a smile that doesn't match the fear behind it, in hands that shake even when they say, "I'm fine." And that's where we often fail, because we look for signs in ECGs, labs, protocols, and forget to truly listen. Sometimes what saves you isn't a test no enzyme or elevated troponin. Sometimes what saves you is someone even without proof or a clear reason, who chooses to believe you. If you've stayed with me this far, thank you for listening. If you've ever felt like something wasn't right, even if no one else saw it, share it in the comments. Maybe your story, like his, deserves to be told. See you in the next case, and remember, not everything that matters shows up in a test.